Hello, everyone, and welcome to the STLTechTalk podcast. My name is JJ Ham, and we have another great show for you tonight. Are you ready for the top tech news stories of the week, application picks that you should try out on your favorite gadgets, fun and lively commentary, and, of course, our very special guest interview? Up first, he has been the strategic account manager for Karpel Solutions since March of 2013. Prior to that, he was with New Horizons Computer Learning Center for 5 years. When not selling IT services and networking, he enjoys golf, live music, and movies. He's a big Cardinals fan, Mizzou fan, and loves to read history and nonfiction books. He is also a political buff and a huge fan of Meet the Press. Thank you so much for being on the show, Patrick Quinn. Say hello, Patrick.
Hey, thank you, JJ.
Thanks for being on the show. We really appreciate
it.
Yep. And the other voice you heard is I am joined by my good friend, co-host, editor-in-chief of STLTechTalk.com, producer of Codecast by STLTechTalk, co-creator of STLTechSheet.com, the uncanny Kevin Harbell. Hello, Kevin. How you doing this evening, sir?
Doing good. Hello, everybody, and welcome, Patrick. Thank you again for joining us. Looking forward to this interview and a great show lined up for you all tonight.
Thanks. Good to be here.
Indeed. And don't forget, you can follow us on Twitter at STLTechTalk, Facebook, Google+, Instagram, Tumblr. I'm sure there's something I'm leaving out, but we're on everywhere, baby. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio. Also, you can download our Windows 8 and Windows Phone 8 apps in the store at STL Tech Talk. And you can watch or listen directly from our website. Also, I encourage everyone to visit STL Tech News, Podcast, Codecast. Give us some money, show by sending us feedback to podcast@stltechtalk.com. And if you're watching us live, you can ask us questions via the chat room, and we will do our best to answer those questions in a timely manner. Special thank yous go out from JJ and Kevin tonight to Ken, Reddit, Microsoft, Indio, Techno, you know who you are, brother man, Amy, Oliver, Barbara Heiss, Rob. But most importantly, my thanks from me specifically today goes out to DigiGirls, and that stands for Digital Girls, which is Microsoft's way, a program that's all over the country, all over the world, that gets girls interested in technology, the science and technology and engineering and math, and gets them, into a place where they're able to see CEOs, women in high places, and ask questions and awesome stuff. And I was a part of that today at the St. Louis Science Center, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. It was wonderful to talk to all of you there. I hope that all of you get back to me. It was fantastic. We had a booth, and a lot of people were coming up. A lot of young ladies were coming up and talking to me about what career choice and phones and programming and just all sorts of stuff, and that was so cool. So thank you so much for that. So my most important thank you really goes out to Trina. Thank you so much for setting that up for us. It was just phenomenal. So just for being awesome people, thank you for supporting the show in one way or another. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Also, I want to take a moment to thank our sponsors of the show, Heartland Realty. If you want the best, in my opinion, obviously, real estate agents around this area, go to www.heartlandhomesrealty.com and find a real estate agent today. Also, for those of you watching live, I'm actually going to do a quick little screen share here. Share, boom. So I'm going to go over to this. And tell me if I'm wrong, Kevin, but I see a big Unidev right there. Do you see Unidev in the net impact?
Yes, I do.
Perfect. I want everybody to go to our site, STLTechTalk.com, and I want everybody to click right here, just like that. And it's going to pop open this. And you're going to go to there, and what they do is as follows. Unidev, if you dream it, they can build it. Custom development, beautiful web design, and creative marketing solutions. In business for the last 25 years, with 200-plus customers, 24/7 support, you will not be let down or left out with the creation of your dreams. If you want software development, content management systems, mobile development, web design, e-commerce solutions, digital marketing, and hosting, go to our website, click on the banner, find out how Unidev can get you high-quality service and production today. So thank you very much again for your continued support of the STL Tech Talk podcast. Now, let's go ahead and hop right into the reason why we're all here tonight, and that's to speak to Patrick. Sir.
Awesome. Yes.
What got you interested in technology? What got you interested in the technological industry?
Well, I'll tell you, before I got into technology, I worked a couple inside sales jobs. Back when I lived in California, I was a trainer in the restaurant business. I liked the idea of teaching and training new folks, even if it was food at that time. And I saw an opening for a Microsoft training company. That was New Horizons, and I thought that was a good fit for me. So I worked there, and 5 years later I developed some new skills, established some channel partnerships, and gained more than a basic understanding of the Microsoft products. I learned about this opportunity at Karpel Solutions, and here I am.
All right. So you were living in California. How long have you lived in St. Louis? Or you
Let's see, I came back to St. Louis in 2002. So I've been about 12 years.
Nice, nice. So what is the most intriguing thing that really gets your attention when it comes to the technology sector?
That's a good one. So keep in mind I'm a sales guy, but
Right.
there's an old quote that many of your listeners have probably heard of in the IT field, and it says, the only constant in technology is change.
Yeah, you got that right.
I like that the world is always evolving, and I get to help put together a solution that helps my customers sell more, become more efficient, or reduces their consumption of other services.
Right. So speaking of working for Karpel Solutions, what is some of the history of Karpel Solutions?
Okay. Yep. So I'll hit the highlights. We've been around for 29 years. Joe Karpel founded the company back in 1985. His son and our current owner, Jeff Karpel, came on a few years later as a developer. In the early years, we were a custom software development company. That's still how many folks know us and remember us. We did some unique things for companies like Schaefer Auto Body, Kennelwood Pet Resorts, Lou Fuse Automotive, Alberici, to name a few. And so in the mid-90s, the Karpel family, they had a family friend that was murdered. And so they watched these folks go through this for 3 years and had to relive this event. And so Jeff was a developer, and he came up with a solution, basically a software tool that shepherds cases through the court system. This not only made things more efficient and reduced costs to the courts and the taxpayers, but ultimately it provided a quicker peace of mind to the families.
Wow.
We went from winning St. Louis County to winning an RFP in all but 4 counties in the whole state of Missouri. And currently we have at least 1 county in 16 other states, including Hawaii and soon Alaska this fall.
Wow, so you're pretty much involved in the majority of the states around the country. I mean,
we have about 1/3 of the market share right now.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. Right. In this space, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
So explain to us a little bit about what managed services means,
Sure.
because I know that's the other part to Karpel Solutions.
Yep, sure. So we brand that Insight by Karpel, and I know Kevin and JJ, I know you know what that means, but so when someone hears the term managed services, they might be thinking of many different things. In general, it means a company outsources the labor to perform technology functions. Mm-hmm. So let me make it even easier for someone to wrap their head around. Okay, so you've got a company that's got 30 or 40 people. You've got 2 servers, software to run your computers, maybe 36 desktop computers. You might have a backup solution in place. You definitely want to have a security solution in place. All this you could probably buy at Office Max or Office Depot or Micro Center, right?
Sure.
Right.
Your company can't afford to pay someone $60,000 or $70,000 a year to manage the IT department, so they hire Karpel Solutions to do it. Look, we have to pay for health insurance, auto insurance, and many of us have life insurance. What's insurance for? It's for just in case, right? Well, managed services is like having infrastructure insurance, and you pay Karpel Solutions one monthly fee, and we ensure that your phones and your servers and your computers are all working. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
So,
gosh, why don't people say that more often, Patrick?
Yeah.
Right.
So some companies, for some companies, those business tools like the phone and the computer are critical. If they're not working, the company can't sell and reach customers. So I guess what I'm really selling is ease of mind.
Right. So whenever people buy into Karpel and they want to, let Karpel Solutions handle some of their, the projects that they're wanting to get done or some of the services, what is it that people will get with Karpel's managed services?
Sure. So, what maybe makes us different than maybe the traditional break-fix model with Karpel Solutions, look, or a company that's never thought about going into trying managed services, you've got a completely redundant solution. No one goes on vacation, no one calls in sick. We've got help desk coverage from 7 in the morning until 10 o'clock at night and 9 to 5 on Saturdays. You've probably always heard 2 heads are better than 1. Well, what if you had the expertise of 14 help desk folks at your disposal? That's what managed services are.
Wonderful.
So go a little further. We install an agent on the servers and the PCs, and this provides remote support, which essentially reduces the cost than what you'd have from a traditional break-fix model. They've got the ability to fix the problems faster and not have the customer wait on someone to be dispatched. If you need an engineer, we've got a team of engineers. We don't just have one person like some one-man IT shops have. Clients could have an SLA, a service level agreement, where we might a 4-hour response for non-critical issues and a 1-hour response for critical.
Nice.
That's very interesting, and a company would obviously need. I would think depending on their size and breadth and stuff. I mean, they're going to have people who are technical, but I mean, not having to worry about some of these things are, I would say, like you said, peace of mind and knowing that there are experts who can knock this stuff out.
Absolutely.
So, tell me a little bit about what Karpel Solutions does right now in the present.
Sure. So we're still doing custom software solutions. I mentioned we're the industry leader in prosecutor software in the U.S. We call that Prosecutor by Karpel. Mm-hmm. We have currently about 1/3 of the market industry. My job is to get more clients with managed services. We're looking for new companies that do not have an IT person or maybe one IT guy and they want to supplement their solution. As I said, in a sense, we become their IT department. We're a Microsoft partner. We sell Office 365, and we just recently became an Azure partner. So I'm looking for ways to sell more cloud services and move companies away from old servers and get into the IaaS, the infrastructure as a service. We're also an authorized ShoreTel partner, so we sell voice over IP phones as well.
Wow, nice. So I mean, I'm sure Karpel Solutions isn't alone in some of the services that you guys offer. So what is it that really makes Karpel stand out more above and against the competitors that are available in the St. Louis area and nationwide?
Sure. So, well, for one thing, we're a debt-free company. So we've been around for almost 30 years. We're not going anywhere. Wow, we've won the Small Business Monthly's Best IT. This is the 3rd year in a row, so we're proud about that. We're unique in that we're one of the few IT companies that I know that has a help desk team of more than 10 employees that are all U.S. citizens. We don't outsource our help desk. So we've got a physical brick and mortar office right there in South County. We provide live help desk support from 7 in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. and even on Saturdays from 9 to 5. Something that I've never run across with any other IT company, but we offer free recycling. So if our customer allows us to, we're an HP and Dell partner, we'll buy the equipment and set it up for you. But if the customer buys it on their own, we'll come and take your old equipment and either shred the hard drive for you or simply remove it and recycle that for you. Other companies charge for that. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, one of the what sets us apart from some is the cost factor. I know a lot of my, I'll call them peers, but competitors out there, and we're cheaper than many that I've come across. We provide a ticketing system that allows the clients to have access to their help desk tickets, and at the end of the month we send a report that kind of shows the viability and the health of their system and make sure that all systems are go.
Nice.
Very cool. Very cool. So you just recently did some cool stuff. What are some other cool stuff that Karpel's doing right now?
Well, as I said, we just became an Azure partner. I came back from the Microsoft World Partner Conference in D.C. just a few weeks ago, and that was the buzz. They're all talking about getting in the cloud, Office 365, being in a mobile society, and pretty much that's what you're going to hear from Microsoft talk about all for the rest of the year. Azure is a cloud computing platform and infrastructure created by Microsoft for building and deploying and managing applications and services through a global network. And with the Server 2003 ending support in July 2015, it's my goal to get as many customers into the cloud services as soon as possible. So we're growing so much that we'll be moving into a new building at the end of the year, so I'll be looking forward to a new office soon.
Yeah, where's the new location at? You guys are looking at still South County area?
Yeah, yeah. So the owner lives here. Jeff Karpel and his family lives here in South County, and a fair majority of our employees live here as well. So this is kind of home to us, and we're looking at some properties somewhere around this South County area.
Okay. Before we get into the kind of the next phase, get into a little bit more about you personally. Approximately how many employees does Karpel Solutions have in the group?
Sure. Yep. So we have about 45 employees, maybe 14 help desk, and 5-6 engineers. We have a couple that are dedicated to the ShoreTel phones, and the others are Microsoft, what we call systems engineers. Currently, the office is kind of divided in half, where we have that other team that are developers, and those are the folks that are creating the Prosecutor by Karpel. That's the Prosecutor product that we sell.
Okay. Now, for people listening at home and maybe watching live, do you happen to know if there's like any openings for any developer positions or anything like that?
There are. That's a good. Thanks for asking that, Kevin. So, my boss, Matt Zemansky, is the CEO. And we're looking for a couple data conversion specialists. This was the last I heard, so this is maybe within the last 2 or 3 weeks. But that piece of our business is continuing to grow. So I think we're looking for at least 2 data conversion specialists, another developer. As that other piece of our business grows, we'll again need another 2 or 3 help desk people and probably another engineer.
Wow, awesome. So, listeners, if you're interested, we're going to get that contact information to you here in a little bit.
That's right. It's right at the bottom of his screen. Bam! Hit him up there.
By the way, JJ has probably talked about this before. He and I have been in several networking things together, but we have signed up to be a part of Launch Code. They just have a deficit of qualified talent out there. So as that pool becomes plentiful, we're on board with that. We want to see that happen, and I heard some things in the news that they're going to move that to other parts of the country.
Yes, starting to expand that. We'll be covering a little bit about that a little later in the show. So
that's right, teaser. Just a little bit of a teaser.
Okay.
So Patrick, me and you, we're friends, I would say, and we know I know a lot about our customers don't, or not customers, but our listeners don't know a ton. Tell us a little bit about you and the different things that you're doing right now, like the IAMCP.
Sure. I'll make one little plug on an organization that I'm also in. I don't have a leadership role, and that's the AITP. That's the Association for Information Technology Professionals. That's another national organization as well, and we hold dinner meetings at the Crown Plaza once a week on the fourth Thursday of the month. So any of those IT listeners out there that have never tried that, it's very cool. It's vendor neutral, so it's not Microsoft centric in any way. Primary goal is to learn about IT education, and we've had folks from Dell and Cisco and professional speakers that talk about big data and things like this, and so that's a neat organization I've been in for about 5 years. The IAMCP is the International Association of Microsoft Channel Partners, and I've been involved with that for about 4 years as well. I was just elected the president in June, so I started my term on July 1st, and that's a 2-year term, and very excited to help grow the chapter here in St. Louis.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit more about that, the 200 partners and all that stuff.
Yeah. So there is something that folks can do if they want to learn about a company and what their capabilities are. They can go on Microsoft Pinpoint. But if you put in your zip code or you do a radius search of a particular area, there's about 200 plus partners in the Metro St. Louis area. Currently, there's about 21 paid members of the IAMCP. These are ISVs, these are managed partners, SharePoint partners, Dynamics partners, various ones. And so my first goal is to double the membership in the chapter. I want to do that. I believe if you build it, they'll come. And what I mean by that is that there's strength in numbers. With more members sharing their story and their capabilities, the more likely it is for us to work together and pass and share leads and opportunities. There are more Microsoft companies out there, and there's not one of them that does exactly what Karpel Solutions does, but there are some overlaps, and that just gives us a chance to play nice in the sandbox, right? So I don't look at these companies as competitors. I look at them as peers. And I think that I'd rather have St. Louis win the business than, let's say, Chicago or New York. And me personally, I'd rather see Microsoft win the business than, say, Google or Amazon. But that's just me.
Totally.
Nice. Yeah.
You're up, Kevin.
Understand. All right. So, some of the future things, you mentioned you guys are looking to expand into a new facility. That's awesome. Expansion's always good. What are some of the other future goals for Karpel and for yourself as well?
Well, I'm gonna say this to anybody listening that's a small IT company that might want to become a Microsoft partner, or a company that's smaller than us or our size that thinks that they don't have the capacity to become huge. So Karpel Solutions is about a $5 or $6 million company. While at the Microsoft Partner Conference, I ran across a company that started 5 years ago, and they went from 0 to 231,000 seats with Office 365 in 5 years.
Wow.
I met a guy that's doing Azure services, and he went from 0 to $6.8 million in 2 years. So I say go big or go home. My goal is to be the #1 Azure partner in the central region for Microsoft by June of 2015. And I'd like to have more government accounts doing some municipal and county, so we do the county business in the state of Missouri and the various municipalities. And I want to increase our presence in the legal vertical. So we play nice with law firms, and obviously we do business with prosecutors' offices, and I'd like to see more of that. And then lastly, ShoreTel. So I'd like to see us win more large ShoreTel engagements. Our fiscal year ends November of this year, November 2014, and I think we can do it.
Sweet. So what's coming up for Patrick here? Tell us a little bit what you might have going on.
So with the IAMCP, I'm still new to that position, but add more members, expose the organization to more partners, increased partner-to-partner engagements, and most definitely I'm going to be going to a World Partner Conference next year in Orlando, Florida. So anybody that's interested, it's just a very cool experience. It's worth the investment.
Right. Maybe you're able to go to Disney World too.
Maybe. Yeah.
Well, I'm down here. I might as well.
Right. Well, I'm in the area.
Sure.
Awesome.
So just for the listeners, me and Patrick, we first met at the Microsoft store, and again, we're not the Microsoft podcast, but hey, they're out in the community and they're doing stuff, and that's why I talk about it, is because they're actually a part of the community, and they, through partnerships and all this other kind of stuff, and Small Business Week, they support guys and girls and all this different stuff. So we met there, great guy. Hit him up on LinkedIn, and all that kind of jazz. And also, if you want to know more about what he's doing, what the company's doing, you can look at karpel.com or at Karpel Solutions on Twitter. Most of our followers and listeners are pretty active on Twitter. But just, go check that stuff out, and support the local talent, local jobs, stuff like that. It's phenomenal and fantastic. And Patrick, was there anything that you wanted to just really say to our listeners while you have their ear?
Well, one thing I want to mention is we just started doing these Microsoft Partner Open Houses at the Microsoft Store. So we had our first one July 29th. We're going to have another one in September, which is another morning event. And then we'll have one in November, which will be an after hours. And so this is for really anybody out there that's, obviously the Microsoft Store would like to have foot traffic through there. They've got some cool, devices. They've got the Microsoft Surface. You've got your Xbox. They've got all kinds of. I've got a Fitbit that I got from Small Business Week out there. So I'm really happy that the Microsoft Store has become a. Show it off. Can we see it? Oh.
That guy's got a Fitbit too. So
Yeah,
don't let Kevin fool you.
I got the Fitbit. Yeah. So luckily you can only see me from the waist up at this point, but I'm getting right. No, so I'm just really excited. I've been at my position at Karpel Solutions just a little more than a year. And it's really awesome to be a part of this organization and being able to work with the companies that we have. I'm looking forward to more great engagements, as I said, with law firms and municipalities and more ShoreTel, and most definitely Office 365 and Azure. I appreciate you having me on your podcast, and I look forward to supporting your organization, STLTechTalk, much more in the future.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks, guys.
And have a wonderful evening. Go ahead and X yourself out, sir. It was fantastic having you on.
Yes, we'll be in touch soon. Thanks again, Patrick.
Thanks for being here. Have a good night.
You too. Awesome.
Well, that was Patrick. A lot of information packed into that.
Yeah, that was great, man. Because, it's been a while since I've really taken a look at Karpel and, just hearing all that, listening to him talk about it and hearing about some of the future things that got coming down the, coming up. That's pretty exciting. All right here in St. Louis.
Yeah, that's true. And so often, either salespeople or even technical people like myself, we hear the same buzzwords over and over again, but nobody actually says it all the way out. So I'm glad we at least talked about that tonight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a little bit more in depth.
Yeah, instead of just the acronyms, instead of just this and that, I think it was just really cool to have done that. So so that was really cool. So thank you so much for being on. Up next, our next segment is the news rundown. Kevin, start off with your first story of the evening.
Okay, so
news rundown.
Like JJ said earlier, this is not just a Microsoft podcast.
It's not. I swear to God,
right.
It
is a general tech podcast.
Right.
It's just, we do talk about a lot of Microsoft stuff. So the first story that I want to discuss is earlier this week, Microsoft updated Windows Phone again. So there's Windows Phone 8.1 Update 1. And so it was really good to see this new update. I went ahead, I was kind of debating, I just got the, update the Cyan and, the official 8.1 through AT&T, and I debated on installing this new update, but I'm like, heck with it. So I went ahead and did it last night. It took 20-25 minutes to get everything squared away. It And I'm really glad that I did, because these new folders on your start screen, that's outstanding. It is worth the upgrade alone.
Nope,
Just
I'm
for
not doing it,
those.
Kevin. I'm not doing it. It's
Miss
my
out.
primary machine. I'm not doing
Miss
it.
out. Miss out then.
Period. I don't care.
Miss out.
I'll use yours.
Let's just say it worked fine. I didn't feel the need to do a full restore because everything's been running smooth. It's great. It's well worth it. I feel the keyboard works a little bit better. I've also seen Cortana's a little bit more sassy. She's got a little bit more interaction. She does some impersonations.
So how
I
did
don't
you
really mess around too much.
So how did you download it? I mean, how did you do this? Tell me how you did it.
Okay, well,
JJ hasn't been not doing anything. He's been doing stuff, but I haven't been able to sit down in front of my computer in like days. It feels like.
You're
So
like
how
you're
do
like me. I don't get a whole lot of time to spend on my computer anymore with everything else going on. We're growing and all this, but no, simply just install Windows Preview for Developers. Go to the
Again?
Windows Phone Store app. Yeah, just re-download it and sign
Okay.
back in and check for update. Says there's an update. It downloads it, installs it, boom.
So okay. So all my settings, like the background,
Yes.
all my apps.
Nothing changes. Nothing changes. Not a thing changes.
Do
Make
you
delete.
like?
Make delete. Do it. Just do it.
God, I'll do it this weekend.
It's worth it. Well, if you want, you can take a look at mine.
I will, and I'll see if
you
it's
can
worth
see.
it. Yeah, I'll
Man,
see
being able
if
to.
it's
I've
like-
got like 8 email addresses
If I
that
have
I
to
gotta keep
put
up
my
with.
passwords in one more time,
No,
I'm gonna
you
go
don't.
insane.
It's okay. It's okay.
Oh, I don't.
To
I
be
don't
able
have
to
to do
just
that.
group them in one square, and then tap on it. Bloop, they all show up and show me how many notifications. It's even live tiled in that little folder window, the little folder tile. They're all little live tiles flipping around and stuff. I'm like, that is so cool.
Microsoft. Let's stop talking about them. They make me angry. No.
They made you angry.
No, I know they don't. I love to hate them. So my next story is actually not about Microsoft. It's about Google. It's about in this story. Look, there's no way we can cover all the stories we want to cover. So we pick the ones that we think are cool and interesting to us at the time.
Stand out in our minds. And
Yes.
this one did stand out to me too. I'm glad you put that in there.
Yeah. Maybe we should do that a little bit more before the show. Like, hey, is this actually a viable story? No. Google has long had a policy of automatically scanning your emails, your Drive folder, all of your different things that are synced to your device. So if you have an Android phone, like a Samsung, an HTC, because some people listening to this podcast might not even know what phone they have, and God love you people. When you're looking at that stuff and all that jazz, Google has an algorithm that searches through all that to find out relevant information for you, find out what's junk email, what's spam, what's this, that, and the other, and they separate everything out. Well, this particular story, Google has used the automatic image scanning to fight against online child exploitation, is what it's called. Basically, it's child pornography. And a guy in Houston was arrested for having illegal photos of children on his Gmail account. So this was really awesome and cool because they're stopping a guy. And I saw another story that's sort of similar to this where there was a similar, like they found, this guy and he was, a rapist or whatever. So it was the whole thing. But really, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, oh my gosh, I mean, they're able to see the pictures, determine what they are, determine if they're good or bad. That's really interesting. I mean, to have that kind of technology, to me, that's really interesting stuff. Kevin, what do you have to say on this story?
All right, so first off, child porn, child predators, just go to HE double hockey sticks.
Oh, dude, the worst possible death ever to those people.
So, but I kind of like the fact that this guy got caught, because if you think about it, say you create an email system, or you create some kind of file sharing system. Do you want your company, your brand, your hard work and your investment known for being the company that people uses to share these kinds of photos and stuff like that. So I feel Google is within the right to be able to, check that.
I
And
wholeheartedly
if
agree.
it's deemed inappropriate, I mean, not the little pictures, families taking those innocent pictures of, their kid in the bathtub, and it's just like, oh God, that was such a cute thing, and you hear the story where the family goes to get the pictures developed, and then they get caught and stuff like that. That's kind of wrong because that can be kind of proven a little bit different. This, I think Google has the right to do this. It's you have a choice whether you want to use Google's Gmail system or not. You could use Yahoo, you can use Outlook or Hotmail or any other number of free email accounts.
Totally agree.
So I say go Google. I mean, all email providers and all service providers, everything needs to be helping fight this.
iCloud, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't care.
They all need to be fighting against this.
A lot of the pushback on Reddit and a whole bunch of other different stuff was the ends justify the means approach, and people feeling that's a slippery slope. But at some level, I mean, there's a tough and a fine line to walk, and this is there's a tough and fine line to walk, and if people get mad when they say, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, then you shouldn't worry about Google or Microsoft or Apple scanning your stuff and all that kind of jazz, because if you've got nothing to hide, whatever. But who deems that good or bad, right? Like, do we as a society do that? Do they as a company do that? But I'm in the camp that, you know what? I don't care if you got drunk or if you got all this other kind of stuff and you don't want people to see your pictures and all that kind of jazz. I don't care. If one kid is saved, that's enough for me.
Right.
That's how I feel about this story.
Right.
So I just wanted to get that out there because, I talk to a lot of people and we talk a lot of tech, and I think tech is here to better our lives, not worsen it, and find these bad guys and all that kind of stuff. Rock on. That's how I feel about it. Kevin?
I agree.
You're up with our next
All right,
story, sir.
The next thing I wanted to talk about, which we've kind of discussed this in the past, and it's been talked about for a while, about Sprint being interested in merging / purchasing, making a controlling interest purchase of T-Mobile. Well, today it was reported with the Wall Street Journal that Sprint looks to be halting those talks.
Ooh,
Sprint now feels that a deal that's going to meet regulatory approval would be impossible. Me, personally, good.
Yeah.
Because it was just a bad idea to start with.
Yeah, you should have never even considered it.
No. Because honestly, I would hate for Sprint to have purchased them and then T-Mobile having to stop making these game-changing deals, because I don't feel that if T-Mobile wasn't so hyped up and active in changing how carriers act and stuff, I don't think we would have got a bump in storage and our AT&T prepaid accounts being able to use our hotspot again with no additional charge. Verizon wouldn't have added LTE services to their prepaid stuff, trying to make things more affordable. Companies are dropping prices. They're bundling. AT&T's got that family plan for four lines for $160 to share 10 gig of data.
Right.
That's pretty good. I mean,
right.
even looking at their 2 and 3 line plans, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and I wholeheartedly agree with you. And in fact, come on, let's be honest. We don't ever hardly disagree with each other because we're soulmates. But
no, there are times we do.
There are times we do. So, yours, Kevin. So the AT&T is actually seeing growth in this quarter, and actually, a lot of companies are still seeing growth. Verizon's still doing okay. AT&T is still doing okay. T-Mobile has done well. This is choice. This is what everybody freaks out about, the free market and stuff. This is choice. I like choice, right. By the way, Sprint, stop making those commercials with the hamster that's actually the dad. That's just weird. I'm just saying. It's just weird. But I'm really glad, too, because like you said, they're really outspoken. T-Mobile is. T-Mobile may not have awesome service in all places, but they are by doing what they're doing, like you said, making it more awesome, essentially, for us as the consumer to have services from our current providers, for them providing new services, like you said. And I wouldn't, I mean, I would still say that, but I'm also saying everybody else is still getting business, so it's not hurting any. It's not. I mean, it's hurting them a little bit, but not a whole lot
Yeah,
as
it's
far
not
as
like
AT&T and
everybody's.
Verizon and everybody else.
It's not
Yeah,
like everybody's
it's not like
leaving one
everybody's
company and
taking.
going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a mass exodus or whatever.
So,
You know.
more choices, the better, because it helps competition. It helps drive the costs down for us as consumers.
So here's what was really interesting. Again, I'm gonna say, man, I really loved today. Today was just so cool, man, meeting all those people. And being in the science center and all that kind of jazz. I suggest if you have one in your local area, go to it. I mean, anyways.
Yeah.
My story is about the worldwide combined browser market share, the numbers from the desktop browser market share and the mobile browser, what that looks like. And I just really wanted to talk some numbers because today, Kevin and I and Andy Long and Alejandro Ramirez, who you guys know from the show, developed the Windows 8 app and Windows Phone 8 app. And that's all we have done for now. But we went first because of several reasons. But the biggest thing that I heard from a Microsoft DigiGirls event today was, so I want to develop an iOS app. How do I do it? And asking me questions about what direction they the girls should the language. So let's look at some of these numbers. First off, the combined total for the browser for the market share as of 2014, so July 2014, Android is at 3.99. Android browser is at 3.99. Other 4.8. Biggest one, 47.67% Internet Explorer, 12% Firefox, roughly around 17% for Chrome, and around 12 to 13% for Safari, which is Apple. Chrome is Google. Firefox is just open source or whatever. The desktop browser market, Internet Explorer hands down has it at pretty much 60%, Firefox 15, Chrome at 20. The interesting news though here is that Microsoft's Windows 8 operating system and browser and all and Internet Explorer is actually going down, the percentage. And Google is just hammering everybody else as far as increased usage for the Chrome browser. I mean, it's literally like a straight line from 0 all the way up. It's crazy. Right. And Internet Explorer, it just kind of it's trying its hardest, but man, it's just getting hammered in the mobile browser market. Adoption rate, all this kind of stuff. Go to our show notes, check this out. The write-up on Ars Technica is gorgeous. But the worldwide operating system for the market share, Windows 7 is still 91% of the market. OS 10 is about 6%. But if you look at the mobile stuff, I mean, it's almost all 80%, almost 90% all Android. So there's a lot of back and forth about, is it full on Android with the Play Store? Is it blah blah? It doesn't really matter because I'm being approached at a Microsoft event for everybody, the girls and stuff and the different people that were there. They were like, I want to make iOS apps. I want to maybe make an Android app. But iOS and Android are just killing it. And this is, I mean, tell me your thoughts on this, Kevin, but I just found it really interesting being at all these Microsoft events and all these people saying, yeah, I don't actually have a Windows 8 machine or I have an Apple or whatever. What are your thoughts? I mean, it just kind of blew my mind a little.
Yeah. First off, just before I forget this thought, I think part of the reason why you see in Chrome take off like that may be because of all these schools and all these places adopting Chromebooks in one-to-one programs or issuing these little Chromebooks out to students. I mean, what browser is it going to be using? It's going to be using Chrome.
That's true.
I kind of think maybe that's one reason with a lot of these more cheaper, affordable, albeit lower powered computers, it's still using Chrome. So now back to the point that you came to me with. I think it still all comes down to marketing. It's the marketing falls to Apple, Samsung. That's why students, teenagers, everybody wants either an iPhone or a Galaxy. That's what they know.
I agree.
That's what they see.
I agree.
If their friends have it, that's what they want because they don't want to be left out. They don't want to be the odd person out with a Windows phone or a HTC One or an LG G2 or G3. You know, they want the latest and greatest Galaxy, the latest and greatest iPhone.
It was funny. One girl was saying she's like well, first I went, hey, check out my 1520 and tell me what you think. You know, she goes, what? I'm looking to get a new phone. What phone should I get? And she just hated the fact that it was just Internet Explorer on my 1520. I mean, she was like, my dad uses Internet Explorer. I don't use Internet Explorer. It was just interesting to me, and I think it's just a systemic problem. I think that for all the good Microsoft does, I still think that they're having this huge branding and marketing issue, like you said.
Right.
And I think that Android is also having a similar issue. I think Android, because I have a Nexus 5, which I suggest everybody get, and just get a battery power pack case or something because the battery life totally sucks. But if you had a lot of battery, it'd be a better device. But Samsung is still killing it. Now, Samsung in this last quarter did not sell as many phones as they normally do.
Right.
And that's a couple of issues. One, the overall higher end phone market is decreasing as far as how many people are purchasing those and going for the more mid-range devices or lower end stuff. And Samsung's having to compete with that. And also the gain that iOS is making, both in the States where it matters and China where it matters. Now, there are some people who would disagree with that statement, but I think overall that's pretty much true. And I think, like you said, it's more of a problem, I think, with getting from point A to point B and not having clear messages instead of kind of these half-hearted attempts to say, oh yeah, we have this, but then, you know, really do nothing other than support maybe developer tools or whatever. So you see that, you know, $9 billion was paid out from Apple to iOS developers. That number is nowhere close for Android or Windows.
Right. So,
and
I mean, that's another aspect that people look at. Where are they going to make the money developing?
Yeah, where's the money at? I can't exist without money. I mean, I can, but I mean other people can't. They'll just shrivel up and die. So you know, this was overall good story. I just wanted to talk about it to have that out there because the numbers, at the end of the day, numbers matter, guys. I'm sorry, but it does. So if you don't like these numbers, change it, develop, speak out, offer your services to multi-billion-dollar companies. Right here, we can do it. You're up, Kevin.
One other thing to touch on this. Now, this is just me as a person. I try to be aware of my surroundings and everything that's going on. So when I'm watching a TV show or I'm watching a movie, I'm paying attention to the phones and the devices that the characters on the shows are using.
I think more people do that now than ever before because you're not the only one who said that to me. People have said that.
Like on House of Cards. On House of Cards, Frank Underwood, main character Kevin Spacey, uses a BlackBerry. Well, why? Because, well, he's okay. I won't do any spoilers, but you know he's a big shot in Washington, and so in Washington you're gonna need to have a secure device. There's a macaroni and cheese commercial, Kraft mac and cheese. They use Lumia devices. You know, I think he's actually using a 920, maybe even a 1020. I think it's a 920. Honestly, I don't see many shows where the characters are using Androids. My wife and I watch Grimm. That's Friday night with one of St. Louis's own. I can't think of his name. June Kelly. That's his last name.
Oh, okay.
Great show. But they use iPhones. So that's just the little things that I pick up on during the show. I mean, tech guy. What do you expect?
Yeah, product placement. I want to know what's going on. Very cool stuff, Kevin. That was a little nugget. So for people who've listened to it this far, God bless you, first of all. Second of all, this was pretty cool because I actually like that little conversation back and forth. So your next news story, sir.
All right. So earlier we kind of talked with Patrick, talking about launch code. Well, this next story kind of deals all about launch code. St. Louis's own Jim McKelvey has mentioned in prior months that he was looking to expand launch code. So he has now come to the decision that he is going to move his family to Miami to help expand launch code, get that expansion going down in the Miami area.
Totally.
So it doesn't mean that he's given up on St. Louis, everybody.
Yeah.
He's still St. Louis at heart, and he wants to make sure St. Louis succeeds. So when he can, he's still going to favor St. Louis whenever he can. This was a great article by Brian Felt over at the St. Louis Biz Journal. So mad props. This is a great article. We'll have the link in the show notes for you to go check it out. So there's a couple other places that McKelvey is planning on expanding to, such as Philadelphia, Baltimore, Denver, and possibly a location over on the West Coast. You kind of naturally assume that that's going to be like San Francisco, but maybe he'll be a little further south, maybe a little further north. Maybe Seattle, possibly. Seattle's a big tech hub that people sometimes don't always realize. So I just thought it was good. I mean,
yeah.
I definitely look forward to, when we go to Startup Voodoo, Jim McKelvey's going to be the featured speaker there. Maybe we'll get a chance to connect with him and talk with him there before he does officially move. But
yeah, totally.
Anything to expand launch code, I'm all for it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're huge supporters of launch code. LaunchCodeSTL.org. LaunchCodeSTL.org. For those of you who want to do the search, do that. LaunchCodeSTL.org. Yeah, I say that like, oh gosh, it's imprinted in my brain. I say it all the time to people. And it's not because we get paid from that at all, because we don't. And in fact, I don't even think these guys even know we exist. So we need to change that, by the way. But I'm in the program, and I'm going to complete it. I'm going to get it done and all that. But I just wanted to do it, and it's phenomenal. It's a great place to start for free. I mean, why not do it? It's for free. It's really great. They walk you through everything. There's younger people than me telling me how to code, which ticks me off because they're smarter than me, whatever. But no, no, it's a really great program, and I suggest everybody check it out. It's totally cool, and Brian you're right, he did a really good job on the write-up for this particular article. I also wanted to go ahead and jump right into your next story, Kevin, which is I'm going to go ahead and do a screen share. Or do you want to do a screen share? One of us needs to do a screen share to show this cool new feature of our website.
Oh, yeah, I will do the screen share here.
Awesome. Right. Well, while he's doing the screen share, let me talk a little bit about Dan. Dan is awesome. And I'm going to send out a tweet about him here in a little bit. Him and Wes. And I didn't mention Wes, and I kind of feel bad about that. Dan and Wes so Dan. First up, Dan Lohman is the co-founder of the St. Louis startup called PushUp, which easily adds a social community to your website, and they're located on Washington Ave in downtown St. Louis and at Lab 1500. And not only do they do that, not only does Dan do that, but he runs that space there. So if anybody's interested in finding out more about a location where you could have a conference, a small little, meetups or whatever the case may be you should totally hit Dan up or Lab 1500. Go to Lab 1500, put it in a search browser, boom, go there, check it out. Kevin's got it pulled up now on the screen, so why don't you go ahead and walk our viewers and listeners through that.
All right, so now as you can see, I'll go ahead and just show this. Here's our standard screen. When you first go to STLTechTalk.
Oh, JJ did so good. It looks so great. No, go ahead.
Yeah. So this is what you see.
Yeah.
But now down at the bottom here, you'll see this bar here, and you've got the push-up icon there, members, social feed. You can search members. You got profile. That's your personal profile. So what PushUp is, it helps bring a social community to your website. and it also helps keep people on your website, so more engagement. So to use this, just simply click there. You can see how it just opens up. You still see that nice transparent screen right there. Our website is still behind it, but then you've got Jane Anderson talking about, nice. They looked at one of our done deal with Apple Beats, Joanna Fullman. All these people are now engaging with this website. Here's Dan Lohman right there. Whenever I first got this all set up on our site yesterday, you can share posts out, share these little notifications out to Twitter, to Facebook, and there's Dan showing a little screen share right there on about our first post from our new app, Push Up Social powered social community, St. Louis-based company. And you get
awesome
comments and all this stuff, and there's a couple of the guys from Push Up right there. There's the Push Up office. Open this picture up, and you can see, that's Push Up right there. Everybody, all those screens, all those people helping make this product right here that I'm showing you happen. Right there. There's me and JJ hanging out at the Push Up Social.
Why do I always look ridiculous in photographs? I just look ridiculous sometimes.
Yeah. So this is.
No, JJ. No, you don't look ridiculous. No.
I'm not saying a word, man.
I can tell. Your silence is plenty enough.
Just as bad. This is really cool. Dan Lohman and his partners, Jan, man, gosh, you guys have such a great product. It works on mobile devices too.
Yep.
If I could share my screen on there, I would, but unfortunately can't. But yeah, they've got something good going on here in St. Louis.
Absolutely, and I kept mentioning the guy Wes from Treehouse Networks. Thank you so much for meeting with me on Friday. It was awesome talking with you. Mad props in the future. But so why I brought all these people up is because these are all cool people doing cool things in and around St. Louis. But more importantly, everybody can go to our site and interact there. Everybody can go, and it's socially integrated with hooks in it, it's like Facebook and just a whole bunch of different stuff. So it's totally cool to have all of these awesome people, and Dan is awesome, and what they're doing is awesome, like Kevin said. So guys, if you have a site or if you want to know more about that stuff, hit us up. We'll get you where you need to go. If you want to be a part of our little group there down at the bottom, totally check it out. Everybody's gonna love it. It's just a lot of fun. Really, really a lot of cool stuff. So normally we do our application picks, but I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there and say I want everybody to go download who is on Windows 8 or Windows 8 RT, so Surface, just regular Surface RT, Surface 2, and possibly the Surface 3 when it comes out or whatever. Also, our Windows Phone 8 app. I think I drive it home when I speak for both Kevin and I, unless he has something else he wants to throw up. But I think I speak for us both when we say, go down those applications. If not, go and sign up for the push-up social integration on our site and just see how cool it is. Yeah, and just think of the different ways that you can interact with the show. You can interact with the site. You can interact with STLTechTalk. You don't necessarily have to be in St. Louis because we speak to everybody. So just go and check all that stuff out, guys and gals. Everybody go check it out. Tell us what you think. Interact with us.
Help grow this membership. The more people that we get to interact with, the greater, the more fun we all have.
Yeah, really. And don't be like, oh, they're just trying to make money. No, look, we're trying to do cool stuff. Yeah. We're just trying to do cool stuff. It's free to sign up and free to interact and all that kind of jazz. So just go do it if you want to be a part of a cool community and stuff like that. It's really nice. And we will be there. And Kevin pretty soon is going to be much more involved. So you're going to be hearing from him all the time. So if you like Kevin as much as I do, then you need to go and interact with the site. And then he'll be able to interact as well. So go check that out. My big announcements for the week are just everybody go to our site, tomorrow after you've went to it today or whenever you listen to this, because I'm going to throw out a post or go to our social media, Facebook, Twitter, all that kind of jazz. And if you're in the St. Louis area, sign up for our me and a really awesome gal from Pursue Your Purpose. We're going to be doing some cool stuff at the Microsoft offices the 23rd. Please sign up. Out of that, Kevin, do you have anything that you want to add to the show?
I do appreciate you getting me a Fitbit, because this guy right here needs to get a little bit healthier. I'm already down like 4 or 5 pounds. I'm, doing a little bit more walking. I'm eating better. I'm getting some things taken care of. So again, like I mentioned, I do appreciate it. I'm using the Fitbit app and my MyFitnessPal apps on Windows Phone and Android when I'm bouncing back and forth, so I can sync it to both devices and all. That's just really cool, being able to keep everything tracked, synced, really good. So it's nice seeing that. It's like kind of challenged me. It's like, you've walked over 5,000 steps a day. It's like 2 to 3 miles. I'm like, that's not bad considering I have to sit.
Yeah.
Being an IT guy and then doing this stuff, I sit the majority of my life and driving to and from work and everything. So being able to still get about 6,000 steps, that's not too shabby.
Not too shabby at all, sir.
So I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
so
I wanted Kevin to live because, frankly, without him, this whole thing would fall apart. And the only way I knew how to do that was to be like, all right, we're
somebody's
changing.
got to drive the bus.
Yeah, we got to get you a Fitbit. That's the first step. The next step is some sort of intervention, because you're not allowed to eat fast food as much as you do anymore.
No, and actually, I really don't. When I do, I'm actually making better choices. Grilled
Good.
chicken sandwiches.
Grilled chicken all the way. So I just wanted to say to all of our listeners and everybody who was at DigiGirls or is interested in what the heck is he talking about, on the site I'll have a post up soon with a whole bunch of awesome video. We just got amazing video, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Like, I literally was signed in like a celebrity or something, like autographing things and all that kind of jazz. But it was just so much fun. It was so cool. It was so cool to see that there are so many women that want to be a part of programming, coding, or just the tech industry in general. And there's so many people who do too. It's just getting them from point A to point B and making sure to keep those connections along the way. So thank you, everybody that I met today. If I didn't say your name, it's not because I don't care, because I totally do. But it was just amazing. So thank you all for listening and watching and being a part of that. And thank you to our listeners and our viewers. We so appreciate every time you load, every time you listen to us in your car. We thank you every single moment. We really do. We really, really, from the bottom of our hearts do.
Yeah. Real quick, thank you, Robin Wright, for signing up on our push-up community on STLTechTalk.
Yeah! All right.
Welcome.
Awesome. Actually, I'm glad that you brought her up, because I'm going to be at a bloggers event on Thursday in St. Louis for that too. So I don't know. I maybe talk Alejandro into doing that instead of me. Oh wait, we're live, right? Oh crap.
Yeah.
Alejandro, don't listen to the last 5 minutes. Shh. No. So anyways, with that being said, thank you, everybody. We love and thank you from the bottom of our hearts. So from the entire STL Tech Talk crew, stay frosty. We're out.